Hello everybody. Today we're diving into the what-ifs of life. Those moments we all wonder about, even Hollywood legends. We're talking about Burt Reynolds, a man whose charm and charisma made him a superstar, but who, like all of us, had his share of regrets. Throughout his career, Burt made choices that shaped his path, sometimes by turning down roles that became iconic. He watched others ride those roles to stardom, and later spoke candidly about the sting of missed opportunities. Today we're counting down the 5 most significant roles Burt Reynolds said no to, exploring the humanity behind the legend. Let's begin. First up, a role so legendary it's hard to imagine anyone else: Han Solo. Before Harrison Ford, George Lucas offered the part to Burt Reynolds. In the mid-70s, Burt was the biggest box office star. His swagger and wit were perfect for a galactic smuggler. But when Burt read the Star Wars script, he just didn't get it. Jedi, droids, Death Stars. It all felt too far from the grounded roles he loved. He passed, thinking it wasn't for him. The role went to Harrison Ford, and Star Wars became a cultural phenomenon, launching Ford into superstardom. Burt watched as Han Solo became one of cinema's most beloved characters, and the regret grew. He later admitted, "I should have done it," recognizing the missed chance to be part of something bigger than a hit movie, a movement. Burt's ambition for serious roles blinded him to a different kind of opportunity. He once joked about asking Ford for his money back, but the truth stung. Star Wars was a multi-billion-dollar what-if. Burt's story reminds us, sometimes, the greatest opportunities look nothing like what we expect. Saying yes to the unknown can change everything. For Burt, Han Solo was the one that got away, a galactic-sized regret. It's a lesson in vision, and in the courage to embrace the unfamiliar. Even legends can miss the ride of a lifetime. And for Burt, Han Solo was a role that haunted him for years. The world saw Ford as the ultimate space rogue, but it could have been Reynolds. That single decision changed the course of 2 careers, and pop culture itself. Sometimes, the door you close is the one everyone else wishes they could open. Burt's honesty about this regret made him even more relatable. In the end, it's a reminder. Don't let the strange and new pass you by. You never know what galaxy you might end up saving. Next, we move from space to the Korean War. At least the satirical version in MASH. The 1970 film was a dark comedy about surgeons coping with war's horrors through humor. Director Robert Altman wanted Burt Reynolds as Trapper John, a role that fit Burt's swagger and wit, but Burt hesitated. The script's irreverence felt risky, maybe even disrespectful, especially during a divided era. He worried about how audiences, especially veterans, would react to a comedy about war. So, he played it safe and passed. Elliot Gould took the role, and MASH became a critical and commercial smash, winning the Palme d'Or and earning Oscar nominations. The film's bold, anti-authoritarian message resonated with a new generation. Burt later admitted he misjudged the material. It wasn't disrespectful, but deeply human. By saying no, he missed a chance to be part of a groundbreaking film that redefined American comedy. MASH could have shown a different side of Burt, aligning him with the new Hollywood movement. Instead, it cemented Gould's status as a counterculture icon. For Burt, it was another lesson. Trust visionary directors, and don't shy away from material that challenges conventions. He had the talent to make Trapper John his own, but hesitation cost him a place in cinematic history. Sometimes, the riskier path is the one that leads to greatness. MASH was a missed opportunity to earn artistic credibility and be part of a cultural shift. Burt's regret was real, but so was his willingness to learn from it. The film's success proved audiences were ready for bold storytelling. Burt's safe choice kept him out of one of the most influential comedies ever made. In Hollywood, fortune often favors the bold, and in this case, boldness belonged to someone else. Now, a story of Hollywood power plays and a role that changed cinema: Michael Corleone in The Godfather. For a moment, Burt Reynolds was the studio's top pick for the part. Paramount wanted a star, and Burt fit the bill. But director Francis Ford Coppola fought for authenticity. He wanted Al Pacino. The real obstacle: Marlon Brando, cast as Vito Corleone, refused to work with Burt. Brando saw Burt as a TV actor lacking the gravitas for such a serious film. He gave an ultimatum: "If you cast Burt Reynolds, I'm out." Coppola chose Brando, And with that, Burt's shot at Michael Corleone vanished. The role went to Pacino, and The Godfather became a masterpiece, winning Best Picture and launching Pacino's legendary career. For Burt, this wasn't a bad decision, it was a decision made for him. He later joked about Brando's flattery, but the loss was real. He missed the chance to prove his dramatic chops and work with a visionary director. Sometimes, Hollywood isn't about talent, it's about politics and power. The offer was there, but Brando made sure it was one Burt had to refuse. The Godfather's success was a reminder of how a single casting decision can change everything. Burt's career could have taken a dramatic turn, but fate and Brando had other plans. It's a brutal truth. Sometimes your biggest what-if isn't even your choice. The role defined Pacino, but it could have redefined Reynolds. In Hollywood, the right part at the right time can make history. For Burt, this was the one that slipped away through no fault of his own. The Godfather became legend, and Burt was left to wonder what might have been. Sometimes the door closes before you even reach it, and that's a regret you never quite shake. Now, a different kind of story, not about a role Burt turned down, but one he almost walked away from, Deliverance. Playing Lewis Medlock, Burt faced a grueling shoot, performing his own dangerous stunts on a wild Georgia river. During a waterfall scene, he insisted on doing the stunt himself, and nearly drowned. The experience was traumatic. He cracked his tailbone and was trapped underwater. Shaken, Burt considered quitting the film, but he stayed, pushed by professionalism and the encouragement of his castmates. Deliverance became a critical and commercial triumph, earning Oscar nominations and proving Burt's dramatic range. His performance as Lewis, confident, then vulnerable, remains one of his best. The real-life ordeal gave his acting a raw honesty that resonated on screen. Had he left, his career might have taken a very different path. Deliverance was the bridge from TV star to respected film actor. Sometimes the greatest rewards lie just beyond our greatest fears. Burt's perseverance turned a near disaster into a defining achievement. The film's success cemented his status as a major star. This story is a testament to resilience, the courage to keep going when everything says quit. Burt almost let the river of doubt carry him away, but by holding on, he secured a legacy. Deliverance showed the world what he was truly capable of. It's a reminder. Sometimes, the hardest moments lead to our greatest triumphs. Burt's choice to stay changed everything, and that made all the difference. Our final story, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, a film that swept the Oscars and became a cinematic landmark. Burt Reynolds was a top contender for the lead, Randall P. McMurphy, a rebellious, magnetic anti-hero. The studio wanted Burt's star power and charm for the role. But director Miloš Forman saw something different in Jack Nicholson, a dangerous edge and unpredictable energy. The choice came down to Burt's good-natured rebellion versus Nicholson's anarchic fire. In the end, Forman chose Nicholson, who delivered a legendary Oscar-winning performance. Burt was left to wonder what might have been. Unlike other regrets, Burt accepted this one. It was a creative decision, not a personal slight. Nicholson's McMurphy became iconic, but Burt could have brought his own unique spark to the role. It's another example of how a single casting choice can alter careers and cinematic history. Burt's persona fit McMurphy, but the role was destined for someone else. Sometimes the right part just isn't yours to play. Burt's near miss with Cuckoo's Nest was a reminder of Hollywood's fine margins. He didn't dwell on this regret as deeply, perhaps because Nicholson's performance was so perfect. Still, it was a monumental what-if in a career full of them. Even the biggest stars lose out on roles that could have changed everything. Burt's journey was shaped as much by the parts he didn't play as the ones he did. The film's success was another turning point he watched from the sidelines. In Hollywood, every decision echoes for decades, and sometimes, the role you miss becomes the stuff of legend. So there you have it, Han Solo, Trapper John, Michael Corleone, and R.P. McMurphy, the ghosts of Burt Reynolds' career. His story reminds us that even icons have regrets and moments of doubt. What set Burt apart was his honesty. He owned his mistakes and spoke about them with humor and humility. These regrets shaped him, humbled him, and gave him wisdom to share. Our lives are defined not just by our successes, but by how we process our regrets. Burt Reynolds, for all the roles he missed, still built an incredible legacy. He taught us, it's okay to make mistakes, even big ones. The real measure is how we move forward, keep laughing, and stay grateful for the journey. Thank you for watching. And remember, sometimes the what-ifs are just part of the story. See you next time.